Hello and welcome to Premier Study in Investing. It's great to have you. Thanks for stopping by.
Hello, hey, thanks for joining me on Premier Study in Investing. I'm going to be looking at the actuarial career path today. It's something I came across as I was looking at this Allstate post, and I was captured by the price. Also, you can see here they're still running work from home, and this is actually an assistant actuary. I'm going to dive into it a little bit as far as what it takes to get the associates level. There's a fellowship level, but the associates is kind of the initial jumping in point. Perhaps easier to get into. Also maybe nice if you don't want to move to like a Miami, a Boston, or a New York. So I'm going to start off looking at a couple things that they have the certifications and licenses. This is the Associate of Casualty Actuarial Society, so ACAS preferred. There's a fellow, which is a higher level, Casualty and Actuarial Society. So same societies for both. Computer applications, communication. The interesting thing is that the compensation starts at $118,000, moves to $161,000 based on your experience and qualifications. So that's something you can make a life on, right? That's something that you could raise a couple kids with if you wanted to do that, where you could pay off a home. Executing and manage projects and supports of risk and return management. So we talk about this a lot in finance already, so it's not that unrelated. Return and risk management, key business partners to develop and execute appropriate risk and return strategies of moderate to high complexity to support business goals. The property liability risk and return management team plays an integral role providing analytical support to understanding and optimizing our risk and return profile, right? So it's basically how much should they price, and then what's the severity if they have loss, and then the probability of loss. So we talk about, that's talked about very commonly in CFA level 2 when you're looking at defaults on credit risky bonds. So it's very related to what we've been talking about on this channel. Developing underwriting risk scenarios to assess economic capital requirements, completing reassurance, analytics, reinsurances, having insurance on an insurance policy. So there's like a extra layer of protection backing the insurance providers. So completing reinsurance analytics to support capital management, providing risk and return inputs to rating agency assessments, consulting with business partners on risk and return trade-offs, and transparent risk reporting to senior leaders and the board. So this is an assistant role, so you're probably going to not be meeting with the board or the senior leaders. I'm assuming maybe you'll be on those calls occasionally, but probably not going to be on the calls and speaking in a speaking role with the board members. So I'm here at SOA.org, it's Society for Actuaries, and I'm going to be looking at that initial associates path that they have. Of course, you can go further along. Here are the pathway requirements. They also have a CERA, and this is a fellowship, so this is kind of the next level. So this, unlike other certifications where you just need to show up for an exam, this has like a combination. So VEE is a verification of education. Have you taken these courses? Did you pass? There's some exams, there's some modules, and there's also some seminars. So here you have to prove that you've taken courses and passed a satisfactory level for mathematical statistics, economics, accounting, and finance. And then you get to your first exam, probability. So probability would be your first exam, then you have financial mathematics exam, pre-actuarial foundation module, it's not an exam, but then the fundamentals of actuarial mathematics exam. Then you can have a long or short-term actuarial mathematics exam. Stats for risk modeling, actuarial science foundations module, so again, not an exam, predictive analytics exam. This is an assessment, advanced topics in predictive analytics, fundamentals of actuarial practice, and this is an e-learning course, and then associate's professionalism course. So you can see here with the combination of exams, modules, and seminars, it's much different than trying to study for like 6 or 9 months for one big exam and then hoping that you can, remember and recall and apply thousands of pages of course material. Okay, so now in the second part of this video, we're going to be looking at some of the frequency of the exams, how often they're offered, the prices to take the exams, and some of the pass rates, as well as some of the course prep material from course prep providers. So you can see that these are the exam results from 2023. And if I scroll down to the different exams that were offered during 2023, you can see that the probabilities exam was offered in September, July, May, March, and January, so every like 2 months basically. But in case you can't make one of those, whatever, you could also come in for the FN. This is the financial mathematics, October, August, June, April, February. So the other ones we're going to need for that associates is either the Alt AM or the AST AM. And you can see these are actually only offered once a year, so that could kind of slow things down. The SRM looks like September, May, January, so 3 times a year. And then these are exams for some of these other, maybe the fellowship program or some of the other programs they're running. So let's look at some recent pass rates on one of the exams, the exam P for probabilities. This was from November 22nd, 2023, so very recent. There's this table. I'll talk you through it. So passing marks, you need a 71% to pass. So I'm going to choose to focus on the effective passing percent, so in this case 51.7% rather than the 43.5%. If you go up and read here, it basically says that this effective passing score tells us people that at least got halfway to passing. So it's kind of, for me, it's like the people that actually studied, the people that are taking this seriously. I mean, if the passing score was 71%, we're basically getting rid of everybody who got like under a 35%, right? So like they didn't even get halfway there. So we're going to take those like bottom 35% people who scored, 35, 34, 25, 20%. We're going to get those people out of there, and we're basically going to say like people who at least got a 35%, how many of those actually passed this exam, and we're moving on to the next one. It's 51.7% on this exam. The next one, this is the finance math, was call it 52%. So next we're going to be looking at the advanced long-term actuarial mathematics or the advanced short-term actuarial mathematics. And this is the short term. It had a basically 50% effective pass rate. So this next one is statistics for risk modeling. It had almost a 70% effective pass rate, which is kind of good. It's kind of good to see that once people build these foundational skills, maybe they're able to do pretty well. Predictive analytics, 65.9%. So this is actually pretty difficult if you look at the number of hours. You can see here, this is from the Society of Actuaries. It's beanactuary.org. And it says you need to study about 100 hours for every hour of the exam. So for example, the P-1, it's a 3-hour exam. So you'd have to study 300 hours. In order to complete that. So 300 hours is about the same as what is expected for like a CFA level, honestly. People say 300, 350, maybe 250 if you're doing a review, if you've already studied once. That's kind of a lot. Next, the Society of Actuaries does provide information regarding review seminars and workshops. I didn't love this site, but they do offer a lot. They have mock exams, they have all kinds of textbooks, many other things. We'll look briefly at that. The Actuarial Bookstore, all exams and all modules, US and Canada. ActuaryExamTutors.com, 101 live exam prep, semi-private exam prep, live exam prep seminars. That's pretty great, actually. Affinity Solutions, Coaching Actuaries, I went and looked at this. Illinois State University, Actuarial Exam Preparation Courses. Infinity Actuary Exams. Just Enough Prep. We're almost here to the bottom of the list. MATE Seminars. New England Actuarial Seminars. PAC Online Seminars. Summit Seminars. And XP Actuarial. You can just... This is kind of a nice website, Coaching Actuaries, what it takes. So let's just review really quick. For this associate's level, you have to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exams. So you have to take probability, financial mathematics, a fundamentals of actuarial mathematics exam, either a long-term or a short-term actuarial mathematics exam. Statistics for risk modeling is 5. and predictive analytics is 6. So if we look at the coaching actuaries list, they have all of them: P, the FM, the FAM, the SRM, the predictive analytics, and the long and the short-term actuarial mathematics. They also provide some courses that will help you knock out if you are missing the educational requirement. You can actually, looks like, take the courses right from them. So that's kind of cool. So here's the actuarial bookstore. They have this girl laying down on her living room floor, just chilling, making it look like it's just easy. So ACTX Learning, Mad River Books is another site. And they have exam prep courses. So here I'm looking at some of the prices for the first exam for the probabilities exam. It looks like 6-month license, $79. But maybe also $339. So here's for the financial mathematics, $390, again $79. So this is a prep course, this is videos, so this is probably the difference in the price points. So it looks like it's a lot more like 7-day access, $389. 7-day access. Okay, so let's try to look at the exam and module fees. It's a little bit kind of crazy on this list, but we need 6. So we need probability, that's $250. We need financial mathematics, that's running a total of $500. We need fundamentals of actuarial mathematics, depending on you're a student or not. Let's just go this one, I guess. For non-students, it's $375. So that's $875 total, running total. Then we need stats for risk modeling. We were at $875. This will be $900, $1,200. Then we'll need, are these the same price? It's $455 either way, so $1,655 after we do the long-term advanced mathematics. Predictive analytics is another $11,125, so we're at 16, so it's $2,600, $2,725. And are we done? $2,725 I think is the price for all the courses. It's a 50% pass rate, so let's just say the average student is going to spend about $5,000 in exam fees. Now maybe your company will pick that up. They say a lot of times companies do. Okay, so let's say $5,000 in exam fees plus, let's just do an easy number. We're taking 6 exams. It looked like the average cost for one of those exam prep things was say $300. 300 times 6, $1,800. Let's roll that up to $2,000. So we're $5,000 plus $2,000 is $7,000. And then what else? Then we have to do an assessment on top of that, so we're not really done. $1,125. How much is it for these assessments? Practice is $500. It's $1,625. Final assessment standard fee. I'm just gonna kind of ballpark this, $3,000 pre-actuarial foundations. 200 and 200, that's 3,400. An associate's, and then 2 courses, and then 1 course. So let's say 3,000 plus, let's do the virtual one, 625. Let's say $3,625. I'm going to round that down. I'm going to round that down to $3,500 for these modules and assessments and whatnot. $5,000 for the exams, and $2,000 for the course prep. That's $10,000. $10,000 ballpark for the average students to get that entry level. So summarizing in cost for the associate of the Society of Actuaries, the ASA, the kind of entry level, I'm estimating about $2,500 for exam fees, but the pass rate on average, let's just say, is 50%. So we're going to need to double that for the average student for retakes and whatnot. It's $5,000 in exam fees. Then I also estimated that for the course prep material, it was about $300 per exam times 6 exams. I came up with $1,800 for that. So I just rounded that up to $2,000. So I'm taking the $5,000 in exam fees plus the course prep, $2,000. That brings us to a running total of $7,000 at this point. And then on top of that $7,000, I kind of added up just a ballpark rounded number of $3,000 extra for standard fees, these assessments, these modules, and this course. So 5,000 plus 2,000 plus 3,000, all in is $10,000, I think, to get the associate's level. Okay, so I'm here at etchedactuarial.com, how long to pass ASA or ACAS. They really say here in the middle of the article, 4-year game plan for reaching the ASA. And he said most people will take about 4 years to complete all the requirements for the associateship. Skipping down here to the first step, you should try to pass either the probabilities or the financial mathematics. It says you can go here to decide which one, meaning that there's no order. You can take them really in whichever order you want. Once you pass that, you should start looking for an internship. They say that at this point you're really not that competitive of a candidate. They said at the same time you can look for internships. You can try to pass the second exam and improve your skills like in Excel or VBA or maybe Python, something like that. So passing all 3 will take about 1.5 years, give or take 6 months. So it may take 2 years to pass the first 3. Then you have 3 more to go. But in case maybe you get that job but you only pass 2, then you would spend another 2 more years passing the other 4 exams. Once you've done those, you could work on passing any additional credits that you didn't accumulate during undergrad or graduate school, do the online courses, do the one-day professional seminar. You can do all these at the same time. This is another 6 to 12 months, they say. So once you got all that done, it's like 4 years. But like we said in the beginning, it does look like the starting salary is $118,000. And it goes as high as $161,500, based on your experience. So, of course, at that point, you're probably pretty much going to be doing that for a long time in your career. There's probably going to be a push to get the fellow, which I think is another 3 years, they say. Well, I learned a lot looking at what it takes to become an actuary. I hope you did too. Okay, so in closing, I guess I'll just say that I wanted to give a word of encouragement to everyone who's kind of trying to still get going, no matter what stage in life you are. Maybe you need to switch careers, maybe you had a change in expenses, I don't know, whatever the case may be. Sometimes it breaks my heart to hear people super stressed out, freaking out on the edge of either eviction or defaulting on their mortgage, where they're just in a bad spot financially. I'm still trying to figure out how am I going to pay off the student debt that I got during graduate school, and kind of wondering, man, that gamble that I made to take time off to go to graduate school, has that been a losing bet for me? I don't want to say it's a losing bet because, no one can take that education away from me. But the point is, I guess I continue to need to build upon it until I get to a career, maybe like this or something similar, where eventually you can pay off those debts and then get in the positive, right? And then after you get into the positive, you can start to see what you know as theory of exponential growth and compounding growth of funds through dividends or whatever other means, where things kind of explode in your favor, right? And then you kind of be able to imagine, right? What if I could cut a huge check for a charity one day? I had someone come and ask me to help them. They were doing some amazing work overseas, and I said, I would love to cut a huge check for you. I love what you're doing. I can't do it. To be able to help our parents out or help our friends out when they go through a tough time. What if we go through a debilitating car accident, or we have some health situation come up? It excites me to think about the charity piece, but also not to be constantly living in fear for what if the money runs out, to not be on a paycheck to paycheck, month to month type of situation, but to be able to really grind, put some pieces together, find a job like this, or do something that really works. And I haven't solved that puzzle in my own life, but it is one thing that I'm still pursuing, I just want to encourage you to do the same thing. So thanks so much for joining me on Premier Study Investing. Join us on our website, premierstudyinvesting.com. We're doing some different things with passive investing strategies, modern portfolio theory. And finally, if this was helpful to you, please give us a thumbs up or drop a comment. Let me know what you think about where you're planning on going. Are you an actuary? Are you doing some of these exams? How's it going? How much are you studying? What are you hearing from your friends that are doing this? It'd be very helpful for the community as people are trying to figure out where to go next in their career. Okay, thanks again. Bye.